Central Ohio Sports Network's broadcast will begin in less than 5 minutes. I'm Brent Ford, voice of the Westerville Central Warhawks on COSN. Glad you could be with us. Stay tuned. Warhawk pregame is right around the corner in less than 5 minutes. This is Central Ohio Sports Network's broadcast coverage of the Westerville Central Warhawks. Our Warhawk pregame will begin in less than 4 minutes. Keep it right here on Central Ohio Sports Network. Central Ohio Sports Network, our coverage of Westerville Central will begin in less than 3 minutes right here on COSN. Warhawk pregame coming right up. We've hit the 2-minute warning. Warhawk pregame is coming right up on Central Ohio Sports Network. Warhawk pregame begins in 1 minute. Our broadcast presentation of the Westerville Central Warhawks. It's coming up right here on COSN. "30 seconds until showtime. Warhawk pregame is about to get underway right here, COSN. Central Ohio Sports Network broadcast presentation of the Westerville Central Warhawks begins in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
The following is a broadcast presentation of Central Ohio Sports Network. Welcome to Warhawk Pregame on Central Ohio's Sports Network.
From the Patel Grand Ballroom at the Greater Columbus Convention Center, it's Warhawk basketball on Central Ohio Sports Network as the Warhawks will take on the Thunderhawks of Lakota East in the Holiday Hoopla presented by Bleacher Republic. It should be a fun matchup. Westerville South just finished up against Lutheran East. They fell there in that game, but we're going to preview this one. Lance Wyatt will join us. We'll have our statistician Skip Ford with us. We'll talk with Max Schaber inside our pregame, and we've got it all for you here from the mezzanine of the Convention Center for the Holiday Hoopla. Our Warhawk pregame will roll on next as we continue on Central Ohio Sports Network.
The year was 1907. The Cubs won the World Series and the Ford Model R hit the assembly line. While here in Ohio, school administrators came together to form the Ohio High School Athletic Association. One thing that hasn't changed since 1907 is the dedication of the OHSAA to education-based athletics in Ohio. School sports teach responsibility, sportsmanship, and life lessons that stay with students long after their playing days are over. The OHSAA seeks to prepare students not for the next level of sport, but for the next level of life.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Warhawk Pregame on Central Ohio Sports Network.
Welcome back inside our Warhawk pregame on COSN from the Greater Columbus Convention Center Patel Grand Ballroom here on the south end of the Convention Center, and quite the ballroom it is. Hosting basketball, they got the portable floor out, portable bleachers, the scoreboards are up in the rafters, and right around 4,000 seats is what our statistician thought they have set up here for this event, which started yesterday. Today's day 2, tomorrow is day 3, and games all day long. Brent Ford, Lance Wyatt with you, and Lance, this is kind of a nice setting to play some basketball in.
This is fantastic and a perfect setting to play some Christmas basketball in.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Holiday Hoopla for hosting. This is a great environment for the Westerville Central Warhawks to get their feet wet, to get a better comfortability to possibly have a playoff run later in the season. But nevertheless, the most important time of the year is the Christmas time, and it's time to enjoy and be thankful and be grateful. And I couldn't be more grateful than to be here with you guys tonight.
It's going to be a fun one, and you talk about getting ready for the postseason, and it's the sight lines that that people want to get used to in Central Ohio, because with things going back to the fairgrounds at the Coliseum there, it's exactly kind of the same setting we're seeing here at the Convention Center. There's no wall behind the backboard, so it's in a wide open space, so your depth perception is challenged a little bit here.
It'll definitely be very interesting. Coming into this game, Lakota East, they've been one of the better three-point shooting teams we will see so far in this season, so it'll be very interesting to see how the depth perception plays a factor in this game. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, Lakota East, the Thunderhawks, usually they go by the Hawks, but so does Westerville Central. They go by Hawks, but we're going to have to use full nicknames here, Thunderhawks and Warhawks, in this game when we're describing the teams. But Lakota East came up last night, and they played at Thomas Worthington. They got the win 59-42 after coming off the loss, their only loss of the season, to Winton Woods 48-43. They went into overtime earlier in the season against Princeton 56-55. And this is a Lakota East team that is very well prepared, especially coming out of that Greater Miami Conference. They're tied for first place in the conference standings with Fairfield at 5-0 in the conference, 7-1. Westerville Central 2-4 coming into this matchup, 2-1 in the OCC Ohio, and Westerville Central coming off that win against Gahanna Lincoln last Friday night before the Christmas holiday, and now they get set to take on Lakota East here in the Holiday Hoopla, an 8-day wait, and then, of course, they'll be on the road at Bishop Watterson come Monday evening. But on neutral sites, Westerville Central, their first neutral site game of the year. And we're going to talk with head coach Max Shaver about the sight lines when we come back inside our Warhawk pregame on COSN.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Warhawk Pregame on Central Ohio Sports Network.
Welcome back inside Warhawk Pregame here on Central Ohio Sports Network from the Battelle Grand Ballroom at the Convention Center here with Westerville Central head coach Max Shaver. Coach, when you're getting ready for the preseason and organizations like this are calling to play in some of these tournaments, what's your first response when they said, we're going to host a holiday hoopla and it's at the Convention Center? What was kind of your first thought when that was approached to you?
Yeah, I think it's excitement. You always want to give your kids as much exposure as possible. And, today it will be at a different venue than we're used to. It's always different, shooting with, no backdrop, which will be interesting, kind of like at the fairgrounds. But it'll be an interesting event, and we're excited for it.
It probably sets up some of the sight lines for what the Coliseum could have down at the fairgrounds. Is that kind of maybe a thought process too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that came into play. Certainly at the fairgrounds, coming back. We're very excited for that, and hopefully, like I said, we can make it there. We got to make it there first, but it could be preparation for that as well.
Well, I missed over this one, but Coach, Merry Christmas. Hope you and your family had a good one. When you and your team are coming into this game, what kind of stands out that Lakota East throws at your squad? I know they've got a guy going to Miami. They have another kid who's out for the year with a injury, ACL, but they're young, inexperienced, and they kind of want to hit their stride in January. They're kind of getting to that point now. They just beat Thomas Worthington last night. What do they look like to you and your coaching staff?
Yeah, wow, they're one of the most disciplined teams we've seen thus far. Their shot selection's incredible. They wait until they get an open look. Trey Perry's one of the better guards I've seen this year, and he's incredibly unselfish with the basketball. I think they play hard for 32 minutes. It's going to be a really tough challenge for us. I think they're well coached, and the role guys, they really understand, hey, it's not my job to score. Maybe it's my job to knock down perimeter shots or my job to screen and rebound. And they do that well for 32 minutes, and that's why they're 7-1 right now.
What does that mean for your defense tonight?
We have to be able to hold it together for long possessions. In one of their games this year, in the first possession, they held it for a minute and a half. And if we don't stay disciplined defensively for a minute and a half, and and have some breakdowns, it's going to hurt us. But if we can stay disciplined in our gaps, rotate on their ball screen, continuity stuff, we should be okay.
We know what your starters can do, but what do you need out of your bench players tonight?
Yeah, I think Ethan's a big key. I think Bellarmine coming off the bench is a big key as well. They have a big number 34 who's a really good level 1 scorer. He's a really good screener. He's a really good rebounder. And I think Ethan can kind of come in and change things up for him, being more physical player than Matt is. So that should be our bench, yeah.
Coach, best of luck tonight, and we'll see you on the other side at Bishop Watterson.
Awesome. Thanks, Brent. That's
Westerville Central head coach Max Shaver, and when we come back, we'll have tip-off from the Convention Center after this on COSN.
This has been Warhawk Pregame on Central Ohio Sports Network.
Welcome to today's game. This is Paul Keels, and you know how much I love broadcasting the Buckeyes, but I also love high school sports. On behalf of the OHSAA, let's all do our part to set a good example and make this a fun and safe experience for the kids involved. I know this game means so much to the players, coaches, and fans, but high school sports are about much more than the wins and losses. They teach life lessons that will be with the players long after their playing days are over. Good luck to both teams, and remember to respect the game.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Ohio did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
Connect with Central Ohio Sports Network on Twitter and Instagram at COSN Audio, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Central Ohio Sports Network. COSN social media will have score updates, pictures from the game, audio clips, interviews, and more. Follow and like today. Central Ohio Sports Network. Sports coverage by the fans. The following is a broadcast presentation of Central Ohio Sports Network.
Dylan Edens with the game winner at the buzzer! Lemaire for a quick three near side. Got it! Westerville Central wins it in double overtime. Clark drives the shot. Good! Quincy Clark! Long throw for Pedroso into traffic. Loose ball. Brad Leonard gets it. That's it! Westerville Central gets the win over Westerville South. That's it! It's all over. The district champs are Westerville Central for the first time in school history. And a dunk for M.J. Davis. Tillman with a last-second three! Oh! Back-to-back district titles for Westerville Central! Cook 1 second from half court. It's up, and it's in! Oh, my gosh! No way! Holy crap! Westerville Central wins it at the buzzer! Tassos Cook sends Westerville Central to the Final Four! Dribbling it out is Quincy Clark, and Kevin Martin goes nuts for Westerville Central as the Warhawks, with 2 seconds, are on their way to Championship Sunday. Henderson, the last-second three! He banked it in! Oh, my goodness!
Will there be some holiday magic here for Westerville Central as they get ready to take on Lakota East in the Bleacher Republic Holiday Hoopla from the Greater Columbus Convention Center? We're in the Battelle Grand Ballroom for this evening's matchup. 3 days worth of basketball, and who would have thought that Westerville Central would be in a great position to take on quite the team like Cincinnati Lakota East. Fun fact about Lakota, though, if you didn't know this, in 1997, the school district said our one Lakota high school is getting too small. The district is growing. Let's split. They became Lakota West and Lakota East. Fun fact, so Lakota East is only as old as 1997.
Wow. How about that?
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
I like to give all the fun little facts out there.
Still haven't been around too long. All right.
No, they're still learning. The Warhawks and Thunderhawks getting introduced right now. And let's get to those starters for Lakota East. At guard, a 6'2" senior 0, Trey Perry. At guard, a 6'1" senior, number 1, Michael Akindle. A guard, 6 foot junior, number 3, Ashton Washburn. 5'10" senior or sophomore guard, 15, Isaiah King. And at forward, 6'5" junior, 34, PJ McFarland. The Warhawks here are going to have the senior captain at 6'3", at guard, number 1, Maceo Harper. On the wing, a 6'5" senior captain, Josh Henderson. At guard, a 6'2" senior captain, number 3, Amari Spiva. And a 6'3" junior wing, number 5, Matt Brett. And I believe they'll also throw in there the 6 foot junior guard, number 20, Mason Gooden. The Warhawks will be in their home whites with the black stripe up the side, black numerals, black cursive Warhawks across the chest. And the Lakota East Thunderhawks will be in their road blacks with the white and silver trim up the sides, white numerals, and cursive Lakota East in silver across the chest. Both teams also are black and silver in their primary colors.
I don't know if we picked our colors and our name from them or how all that worked, but
I'm not sure. I remember when Westerville Central was picking names, we threw in a name, didn't we? Their statistician. Didn't we throw in Warhawks? It didn't.
I'm very glad that
didn't go. It didn't pass. It didn't pass. Of course, we're underway from the convention center, and Lakota East will have the basketball to start things off. They'll work it left to right as we see it from our mezzanine perch and our broadcast location, and they'll work between the circles to Perry. Perry off of his dribble to the left elbow will bring it back outside, and the East Thunderhawks will reset onto the right point to Washburn. Washburn will feed on to Perry, left wing for the 3. That's on the way. Back iron, no good. Rebound will go to McFarland. McFarland will feed it back outside to Washburn. Washburn will set up with no dribble available. Hand it off to McFarland on that high left. He'll give it off to Perry. And Perry, check that. That will be Perry, actually. Perry will hand it off to Washburn between the circles. Now onto the right point to Akindle. Akindle will drive down to the right side. Hits the bottom of the backboard. No good. Rebound Maceo Harper for Westerville Central. Up the floor to Matt Brett. And his pass thought was going to be in the corner to Amari Spiva. It'll be a turnover by Matt Brett. And we are almost a minute into this first quarter.
Just one possession in, and we've already seen the two big strengths of Lakota East show their strengths. Miami commit Trey Perry looks to be a real athletic guard. Amari Spiva got the challenge here today. And then as a mid-range jumper by Perry goes in, as I keep explaining. And then PJ McFarland had a big offensive rebound. It's going to be a huge challenge for Matt Brett and potentially Ethan Burns off the bench today.
Warhawks traveling right to left, Westerville Central. Here's Henderson for a 3. That's no good. Rebound will go to Trey Perry of Lakota East. It's 6:33 first quarter. Perry drives, dishes outside to Akindle. Now around the arc, left side wing to Washburn. Perry will have it onto the left point. 2-0, Lakota East over Westerville Central. Perry a drive, misses front of the rim, no good. Rebound Amari Spiva, Westerville Central. He'll bring it up the floor right to left, find Matt Brett in the lane, but then he trips on his own foot and slow to get up. A turnover by Matt Brett, his second in a row. And we'll get a whistle and a foul. No, check that. A whistle and an out of bounds by Lakota East. Westerville Central will have the basketball as Ethan Burns gets set to check in, and he's going to replace Matt Brett.
Seems like both teams still need to settle in a little bit here. I don't know if there's butterflies or just a little uncomfortability being here in the convention center, but both teams need to settle in here.
Amari Spiva will have it for Westerville Central. He'll work high right side, right to left, he'll dribble. Maceo Harper will have it. Now top of the key to Ethan Burns. Burns checked by Perry. Burns a one-hander to Spiva onto the right wing. Spiva looks down to the right baseline, dishes it inside to Henderson. He's out on that far corner. Goes inside, pulls up for the mid-range. That's no good. Rebound Perry for Lakota East. He'll push the floor up to Akindle, who drives left of the lane and lays it in for 2. And now Lakota East will have a 4-0 lead with 5:33 to play opening quarter. Amari Spiva will bring it up for Westerville Central. He'll work to Ethan Burns' center logo. And Amari Spiva will have it back to the near side. Mason Gooden on the wing. Outside to Spiva, left point. He'll reset the offense and now go to the right side, Maceo Harper. Harper looks for Burns, center logo, and he'll dribble it off to this near side, and Amari Spiva will have it. Spiva will dribble, and then emphatically, Coach Shaver says he wants a full timeout to the officials. We'll take one with them as Westerville Central trails Lakota East 4-0 with 5:03 to play first quarter on COSN.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is the home of the Westerville Central Warhawks, Central Ohio Sports Network.
Westerville Central will have it out of the timeout. Maceo Harper drives far side, down 4-0 to Lakota East in the Holiday Hoopla presented by Bleacher Republic. Henderson, the drive inside, a whistle. Count the bucket for Josh Henderson as he gets it to drop.
Hopefully that shot can get us going. As a team, we seem to have come out a little sluggish. This is our first game played in 8 days. Seems like we have a little bit of rust we need to knock off. Big-time bucket from Henderson to get the Warhawks on the board.
Well, I didn't hear who the foul was on. They also don't put it up on the scoreboard. But Josh Henderson converts his three-point play opportunity, and Westerville Central now is only down by 1 with 4:37 to play opening quarter. Full court pressure here by the Warhawks. And trying to bring it across is Washburn. He does on the timeline. Get it up to Akindle. And Kindell will work it to Perry between the circles. Left open, Akindle for the 3. That's back iron, no good. The rebound will go to Henderson as he's falling out of bounds. But there will actually be last touch. No, it'll be a foul.
Westerville Central got completely bailed out there. We're running a 1-2-2 full court pressure, and then it seems like we tried to fall back into a man, and Ethan Burns completely left Akindle wide open for an open 3. We got lucky there. We got to make sure that doesn't keep happening.
First foul on P.J. McFarland for Lakota East. And Westerville Central will have the basketball down by 1, traveling right to left as we see it. Henderson will have it onto the right side wing. Henderson, checked by Akindle, will work top of the key, feed it off to Burns right point. Now to Amari Spiva, who pulls up just inside the arc. Back iron, no good. Mason Gooden, the rebound, gets it stripped by King for Lakota East. Up the floor, Perry. Perry right side of the rim for the layup.
An incredible spin move before the attack to the cup. One of the most athletic plays I've seen in a couple weeks, I guess, since Jalen Johnson, I'll say.
Maceo Harper will have it for Westerville Central. Now Amari Spiva back to Harper. Free throw line Harper goes outside to Burns. Burns loses the handle, stolen away by Akindle, works up the floor to Perry. Perry will lay it up front of the rim for the finger roll, and he's got 6 points now. All of a sudden, it's 8-3 Lakota East with 3:10 to play opening quarter. And Josh Henderson will have the basketball for Westerville Central. He'll work high on the left. Henderson drives, a push off with his arm, and that one is going to be a 2 for Josh Henderson. Henderson has all of the Westerville Central points. 8-5 Lakota East. They have the basketball with 2:49 to play opening quarter. With the basketball is Isaiah King, and he will work center circle. And this is what Coach Shaver talked about, her long offensive possessions that Lakota East can have. McKindle to Perry, inside, in and out, no good. Henderson the rebound for Westerville Central. He'll push the floor right to left, go on to the right wing. Get around a couple of black jerseys, pull up free throw line, hits front of the rim, no good. Isaiah King the rebound for Lakota East. Up to Perry. Perry feeds left side wing to Washburn. Drives on the baseline. Now stolen away, Amari Spiva, but then back into the hands of Akindel. And now picked up by McFarland, who gets the bucket to go.
We're playing too much me ball as a team right now. We got to turn that me into we. This game will start heading south fast if we don't start playing as a unit. We've been very selfish these first few possessions on the offensive end, and it hasn't amounted to much. And Lakota East loves to run the basketball. They will do whatever they can to take advantage of you. And then just right there on the offensive rebound, we got to make sure we're communicating down there on the low block, finding a way to get that ball.
At the line is P.J. McFarland for the three-point play opportunity. Matt Bretchek back in and got the rebound for Westerville Central, along with Bell Banyella. It's 10-5 Lakota East. 2:02 to play, first quarter. Mason Gooden looks to the near side, and Henderson on a wing. Henderson double team, spins away from it, down to the near baseline. Finger roll up, Josh Henderson now has 7 points.
Way to attack the space. If you're Josh Henderson, you're taking what the defense is giving you, and if they're going to give you that open baseline, you got to take it every time.
Right now it's Lakota East versus Josh Henderson, and Perry goes inside. His shot no good. Rebound McFarland. His putback no good. Henderson the rebound. Up the floor to Amari Spiva. Spiva with two jerseys in front of him will dish far corner. Gooden the three. In and out no good. And the rebound will go to DJ Samuels, who checked in for Lakota East.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. That was a great pass from Spiva. While it may be simple, that's exactly what you want if you're Coach Shaver.
Lakota East will work onto the near side wing to Perry. And Perry will dribble into the free throw line, hesitate, put up the shot, and banks it in. Trey Perry.
Seems like he's going to take those difficult, tough mid-range jumpers all night long.
12-7, and Perry has 8 of those 12 for Lakota East. Westerville Central trailing with the basketball, under a minute to play in the opening quarter. Amari Spiva onto the right side wing. Feeds it off to Matt Brett on the right point. Now Mason Gooden ahead of the circle to Bell Banyella to the near side wing. Banyella left open, now drives, has a free lane, lays it up right side, Bell Banyella.
Way to take advantage of the open space, Bell Banyella.
12-9 Lakota East against Westerville Central. 30 seconds to play, opening quarter. To the near side, gathering for a three on the way is no good for Carpenter. And the rebound will go to Josh Henderson of Westerville Central. 20 seconds in the opening quarter to play. Henderson dribbles on that right side. His pass deflected by Perry, but a whistle and a foul on the return, and this is going to be on Josh Henderson, his first, team's second, as subs come in for both teams, and 14 on the first quarter clock.
I think that's a good foul by Josh Henderson. It would have been a clear, wide-open layup there after the turnover. No clear path foul, clear path foul, but no X foul in high school. Got away with one there. Nice, smart decision.
12-9 Lakota East. Final 7 seconds. And a quick foul by Maceo Harper.
Looks like we're going to take advantage of that foul count. We had 3 to give. Not too much time left in the quarter.
His first, Maceo Harper, team's third. 6 seconds, first quarter. 12-9 Lakota East. They inbound. Perry, high right side. Perry drives down to the right block, puts up the shot. That one's a whistle and a foul. He misses the shot, but he'll go to the line for 2 with 1 second on the clock. Foul is on Maceo Harper, his second, team's fourth. And Trey Perry, who is 73% at the free throw line this season, 29 of 40 coming into the weekend, will drain his first one. He's got 9 points to extend the Lakota East lead. Stats not 100% updated for Lakota East. They did play last night, and I don't think the Whitten Woods stats are in there. 10 points for Trey Perry, but close enough. Last second shot for Josh Henderson is no go, as it's 14-9 Lakota East after 1 in the Holiday Hoopla from the Columbus Convention Center on Central Ohio Sports Network.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Ohio needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Buckeye football great and NFL Super Bowl champion Jim Lachey on sportsmanship.
Winning and losing can teach kids many lessons, but high school sports are truly about respecting your opponent, representing your school, and building the foundation for a lifetime of success. High school sports create memories that last a lifetime. And member schools of the OHSAA are committed to following a high set of standards. Whether it's on the field or in the stands, we can all do our part to respect the game.
This message brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
This is the home of the Westerville Central Warhawks, Central Ohio Sports Network.
First quarter, Westerville Central went 4 of 9 from the field, 0 for 2 behind the arc, 1 for 1 at the line, 7 boards. Is that 3 of those by Henderson? Okay, 5 turnovers for the Warhawks as well through 1 quarter of play, and they trail Lakota East 14-9. Brent Ford, Skip Ford, Lance Wyatt all here with you from the Convention Center for the Holiday Hoopla. And Josh Henderson will have it for Westerville Central. He'll work center circle. Henderson off onto the right to Amari Spiva, high right. Spiva, who's yet to score tonight, puts up the shot. That one bounces front of the rim, no good. Perry the rebound for Lakota East. He'll drive, ride to the lane, put it up, and falls off to the right. Henderson the rebound for Westerville Central. Bounce pass, one-hander to Amari Spiva onto the right wing. Spiva will dish it off to Harper. Harper into the paint. Lowers his head, puts up the shot, bounces too hard off the glass. Isaiah King the rebound for Lakota East. Up the floor to Washburn onto the right wing. Lakota East working left to right as we see it. Onto the left side wing, Akindo. Akindo will work onto the right point to J.J. Smith, who checked in. Now onto the right wing to Washburn. Left side to King. To Akindo. Now between the circles to Trey Perry, who averages 23.8 points per game right now. Onto the right wing to Washburn. Top of the key to King. King will work left side to Perry for a 3. Back iron, no good. Henderson the rebound, Westerville Central. Outlets to Maceo Harper. Around the back dribble, around Trey Perry. He'll hold it high right side and get ready to set the offense for Westerville Central. Westerville Central will slow it down. Harper will work top of the key. Hand off to Matt Brett. Brett dribbles around the arc right side to Amari Spiva. Spiva will bring it out to Matt Brett in the far corner. He'll dribble it outside. A handoff to Spiva on that right wing. Spiva directing traffic, looking to give it off to Henderson, but feeds Maceo Harper left side wing. He pops the 3. That one's back iron, no good. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul on Isaiah King here as Matt Brett was hit in the face. And boy, Matt Brett is having one heck of a game right now as far as taking some shots.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot to deal with. It is just getting started for him. But as a team as a whole, I love the way we're rebounding the basketball and defending, but it hasn't really mattered because the, hate to put a poor choice of words, but terrible shots selection so far from the Warhawks, and not a lot of movement, and it's create to transition opportunities for the Thunderhawks.
Henderson the 3 on the right point out of the inbounds, and now he's got 10 points. Makes it a 2-point ball game, 14-12. Lakota East leads and has the basketball against Westerville Central. Isaiah King to Kindle onto the right point. Back to King, left wing. Kindle, top of the key, drives right to the lane, hesitates in the lane, puts up the fadeaway, bounces off to the right, no good. Tipped around Perry. Ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Mason Gooden, and the Thunderhawks will keep the possession.
I like how Shaver's moving us back and forth on the defensive end from man to zone, keeping the Thunderhawks guessing. Just got to make sure we're rebounding as a team once we're in that zone.
Perry gets the inbound right baseline against Amari Spiva. Puts up the shot, no, missed. Amari Spiva the rebound for Westerville Central. Up the floor, Henderson. Henderson right to left. Henderson free throw line. Hesitates, puts up the shot. Off the back iron, no. He tips it out, and it's going to go out of bounds near sideline, and Lakota East will have the possession with 5:16 on the second quarter clock as they lead 14-12.
See, it's like a shot right there. Like it's an okay shot. You're forcing it. But sometimes you got to pass up those good shots for great shots, and you got to do exactly what Lakota East is doing. They're breaking down your defense. They are working, moving the ball for 45, 60 seconds, trying to find the best shot they can as Perry puts up a contested three and a rebound from Henderson.
Under 5 to play second quarter. Henderson has it. Dishes near side Harper, who spins into the lane, puts up the left-handed layup, and it rolls in. Maceo Harper's on the board.
Hopefully that'll help his game out a little bit. We know he's been struggling these last couple games.
Michael Akindle is able to lay it up left side, getting through a couple white jerseys in traffic. It's 16-14. Lakota East leading Westerville Central after they just tied it up. 4:30 on the second quarter clock. Here's Amari Spiva off of a screen by Matt Brett. Works free throw line into the nearest corner to Gooden. Back to Spiva, left wing. Spiva brings it back out. Amari Spiva, free throw line. Dishes
Nice
inside
pass.
to a wide open Matt Brett. Missed the shot, but then regains the rebound and put back for 2.
Great pass from Amari Spiva. You know, throwing that no-look pass, deceiving the defense, getting the defense to move and leaving a wide open man down in the paint.
Tied up at 16. Trey Perry a drive, but not before a foul here on Westerville Central.
Looks like Josh Henderson's going to get a breather here. We'll see for how long and what the Warhawk offense will look like without him. Let's see if we go to more Spiva and Maceo with two-man connection.
I'm not sure if they called that foul on Henderson or Spiva. So we'll have to wait and find out. But inside is McFarland for Lakota East. Got the rebound, dishes outside for the 3, which is good by Brody Hayes.
That's just an unfortunate bounce right there. The defense broke down because the ball was loose. Lakota East ended up retaining the ball, found a wide open man in the corner. That's just unfortunate.
Amari Spiva will have it far side wing for Westerville Central. Now near side Harper down by 3. Spin into the lane. Reverse shot is up, bounces off, no good. Rebound will go to Lakota East, and Trey Perry will bring it up the floor left to right as we see it. He'll drive into the lane, dish out to Hayes. He'll drive into the paint, lose the basketball. McFarland trying to pick it up. A Mason Gooden falls on it. Hayes picks it up. Outside to Washburn, cross court near side to Akindle, and then back out to Trey Perry, top of the key. Left open, pulls up just inside the arc, misses. And Westerville Central gets the rebound, but not before an injury timeout. And Josh Henderson and Bell Binyella will check in. It looks like Ethan Burns has to go to the bench for, he might have got his hand caught up in there.
Yeah, I think he was holding his wrist or his hand. I'm not exactly too sure what happened. Hopefully he's all right. We're going to need him in our rotation.
I think one of the sponsors here for this holiday hoopla is the Ohio State Sports Medicine, the Wexner Medical Center. So that is being attended to as Bell Binyella drains the 3 near side wing for Westerville Central. He's got 5 points. We're tied at 19. Near side, Lakota East working in a quick transition. We'll have it Perry between the circles, drives into the lane. His layup, no to the left. Amari Spiva the rebound up the floor to Henderson, but deflected by Washburn into the hands of Lakota East. This is Perry, near side Hayes for the 3. Off the mark, no good. Bell Binyella the rebound, Westerville Central.
We're getting very lucky in this game so far. Trey Perry, who's one of the best players in the state, going to Miami of Ohio, has been struggling finishing around the rim today. We got to make sure we take advantage of that and not throwing the ball away off those rebounds.
Amari Spiva will have it high on the right for Westerville Central as we hit the 2:05 mark to play second quarter. And we're tied at 19, Westerville Central and Lakota East. Spiva will hold for the Warhawks. Now get a screen by Matt Brett to the near side. Drives left of the lane. Amari Spiva. High left post. Spin. Fadeaway shot. No good. Mason Gooden the rebound. Handles the basketball. Puts it up off the glass. Too hard. And the rebound goes inside, but a whistle. And we're going to get a jump ball here. The possession arrow will favor Lakota East, but great hustle by Bell.
That was a great job by Bell Binyella, but also Mason Gooden keeping the ball alive, getting the offensive rebound there. Now it seemed like there was a lid on the hoop on that position. I'm not too sure, but I like what we did on the offensive end there. You know, Lakota East loves to pressure the basketball. They'll go as high up as they can, so we got to take advantage of that open space on the floor and attack the basket.
Lakota East will have the basketball with 90 ticks to play in this first quarter, or this first half, begging your pardon. Trey Perry, a drive down to the right block, dishes it back outside. Here's Hayes, near side wing, dribbles, picked it up. Now feeds out right of the center logo to Samuels. Samuels hands it off Trey Perry, near side wing. Perry, a screen to his left, dribbles right, dishes to Hayes in the corner for the three, got it.
Way to make us pay there, right there. Brody Hayes hasn't had his best start to the season shooting the ball, but we know he can do it. Defense had to crash down on Trey Perry defensively and left the man wide open. Way to shoot the rock.
Yeah, he's 33% from the outside. Here's Henderson for Westerville Central to Bell in the near corner for the three, in and out, no good. 22-19. Lakota East with the lead and the basketball. 42nd second quarter to play against Westerville Central. And Trey Perry will hold at center logo. Center logo, representation of the Greater Columbus Convention Center. Of course, the Columbus logo on the baselines as well. I think the Columbus Sports Commission part of this event as well here, as Trey Perry holds. Final 13 seconds of the second quarter. Here's Perry against Bell, and a foul by Bell. That one a little intentional, and the official tells Bell, don't be too aggressive.
Another smart decision from Coach Shaver there, taking advantage of the new foul rule in high school basketball. Had multiple fouls to give, not too much time left on the clock. Let's see if Lakota East can create some magic here in these last 8 seconds.
Inbounding will be Akindle, gets it in, hands it McFarland, back to Akindle. Now far corner, Hayes. 2 seconds, drives, puts up the shot, no. Foul will be on the floor, I believe. And
I'm not too sure if that was planned or not from the Warhawks, but that was a perfectly timed foul.
Yeah, I think that one's on Bell again.
As there's only 0.8 seconds left in the half. It'll be a miracle if Lakota East can get a shot off here. Look at something at the rim.
I think Bell picked up his second. And the inbound here for the Thunderhawks, Isaiah King. Far side baseline to our right. King finds Perry. Last second shot is up, and it drops in. Trey Perry, they're going to give him the bucket, and he's got 12. Now as we head into halftime, and Lakota East leads Westerville Central by a score of 24-19. Our halftime report is next on Central Ohio Sports Network.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. No. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. No by visiting nhtsa.gov/the right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Car is making a strange noise. No matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Connect with Central Ohio Sports Network on Twitter and Instagram at COSN Audio, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Central Ohio Sports Network. COSN social media will have score updates, pictures from the game, audio clips, interviews, and more. Follow and like today. Central Ohio Sports Network. Sports coverage by the fans.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry.
I can roller skate while walking my dog.
I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome to the Halftime Report on Central Ohio Sports Network.
Halftime score from the Battelle Grand Ballroom at the Greater Columbus Convention Center, 24-19. Lakota East leads Westerville Central here in the Holiday Hoopla by Bleacher Republic. Brent Ford, Lance Wyatt, our statistician Skip Ford, calculating up our first half numbers. And, you know, Coach Shaver said it several games ago, the disease of me plagues the offense a little bit for Westerville Central. And you kind of said it yourself there in the break. You kind of see that that's kind of happening tonight a little bit.
Yeah, it's very strange to see because, you know, basketball's a team sport. It's a five-man sport. And while we have a lot of talent on our team, you normally want to try and get all five men in use of the game as much as possible, and it really has seemed to just be a one-man show on the offensive end. Not a whole lot of rhythm, not a whole lot of motion, not a lot of movement, not a lot of screening for each other. We still have 19 points in this game thanks to Josh Henderson and the talent that we do have on this team. But I think this game should be a lot better in our direction with how well we're playing defensively right now. We're rebounding the ball really well. We're crashing the paint. We're not giving many open looks. We gave up a couple, but not many. But then on the offensive end, we're just being way too sloppy, not a lot of movement, forcing a lot of shots. I think if we can get that together and Shaver can finally get that in their head, I think this is a game we can not just win, but I think we can dominate the second half.
Westerville Central went 8 of 22 from the field, 36%, 2 of 6 from behind the arc, 33%, 1 for 1 at the line, 15 rebounds, 6 of those by Henderson. 7 turnovers for the Warhawks in that first half. Only 1 assist, and that is by Amari Spiva. No steals, no blocks. Those 7 turnovers, though, can be a bit of a factor. But
for sure,
like you said, you know, Josh Henderson is the leading scorer. He's got 10 points for Westerville Central right now, and it wasn't until Bell Bignella got into the game with his 5 points, and then Matt Brett his 2, Maceo Harper 2, but Amari Spiva has been quiet. It's been the Trey Perry show for Lakota East. He's got 12 points. Brody Hayes with his 2 threes has 6. Michael Kindle has 4, and P.J. McFarland has 2. So 2 big scorers on each team. Some support from below them, but kind of like you said,
not much else after that.
Not much after that.
And you do have to give the credit where credit is due. I feel like, you know, it's easy to be a little harsh, but these are 2 really talented players, and Trey Perry and Josh Henderson. They're going to be competing against each other for a long time over these next 4 years, both going to MAC schools, as Josh Henderson will be competing at the University of Akron, while, you know, Trey Perry will be playing at Miami of Ohio. But you got to expect both of these coaches to make some adjustments going into the second half. You got to expect both coaches to put a lot of emphasis on those 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see if those 2 players can help get the rest of their team involved. You know, almost be a decoy in the second half. Now, I'm still expecting many points to be scored from both of these players. But moving off the ball, screening for your teammates, it can play a huge factor in this second half. And I think whoever does that best will win this game.
I agree, as it's 24-19, Lakota East leading Westerville Central here in the Holiday Hoopla from the Convention Center, as Westerville Central back out on the floor to warm up for the second half. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more right after this on COSN.
Former Ohio State and NFL quarterback Bobby Hoy on life lessons through sports.
The member schools of the Ohio High School Athletic Association share in the mission of educational athletics. That means that school sports are an extension of the classroom and play an important part of a well-rounded education. Student athletes do a lot more than just play sports, but it's the lessons they learn through sports that last a lifetime.
This message brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Halftime Report on Central Ohio Sports Network.
24-19, Lakota East leads Westerville Central. Here from the Greater Columbus Convention Center, the Patel Grand Ballroom. And both teams out on the floor warming up for the second half of the Holiday Hoopla presented by Bleacher Republic. And I don't know if you knew this, but 97.1 The Fan is also a sponsor of this little event.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, they're listed on their sponsor page. So
that's fantastic.
A lot of big ones.
Yeah, always love it when Central Ohio sports represents one another. And there's almost no bigger than 97.1 The Fan.
Yeah, they're what's their slogan? Ohio's sports destination?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's a good one for sure. Halftime score 24-19. Second half action comes your way next on COSN.
This has been the Halftime Report on Central Ohio Sports Network.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the OHSAA and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
What is dedication?
People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike and you didn't? I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Connect with Central Ohio Sports Network on Twitter and Instagram at COSN Audio, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Central Ohio Sports Network. COSN social media will have score updates, pictures from the game, audio clips, interviews, and more. Follow and like today. Central Ohio Sports Network. Sports coverage by the fans. This is the home of the Westerville Central Warhawks, Central Ohio Sports Network.
Second half about to get underway here from the Convention Center in Columbus for the Holiday Hoopla on COSN. Westerville Central trails Lakota East 24-19. Brent Ford, Skip Ford, and Lance Wyatt with you here from the mezzanine for tonight's action. And I think there's still a game after us.
There is.
And there's games all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you want to come down to the Convention Center, and you can buy all-day passes. You can watch all the games. There's Subway down below, too. You can get lunch and dinner. Westerville Central will start with the basketball in this third quarter, going left to right as we see it. Amari Spiva will have it down to the right block. Puts up the shot. His miss, rebound, and put back is good for two. Amari Spiva is on the board for the first time tonight. That's a different offensive look for Westerville Central.
Without a doubt, something I like.
Lakota East will have the basketball right to left as we see it. Down. And now Trey Perry draws the player control foul. And that'll be the first on Trey Perry. Team foul number 1. Amari Spiva took that charge.
I'm not too sure how or excuse me, let me say this. I'm not too sure how confident I am in the refs making that call correctly, but it doesn't matter. Give that man a Gatorade, put his body on the line, making plays on both ends, exactly what the Warhawks needed to start off this second half.
Little pause in the action as they clean up some of the sweat from the floor, and they'll get the mop out there to clean it up as well. 7:28 third quarter, 24-21. Lakota East leads Westerville Central. A little round of applause here in the ballroom for the mop-up.
And give Spiva credit in that first half. No, he didn't have too much going on in that first half offensively, but on the defensive end, he's been doing everything he can to limit Trey Perry and his explosiveness that he provides on that end.
Spiva will bring it up left to right. A screen to his right, feeds Henderson left point, drives to the left elbow. Double team goes out to Maceo Harper, who goes in the lane, but a whistle and a foul. It's going to be on Trey Perry for the reach-in. That's going to be the second on Trey Perry, team foul number 2 of the third quarter. Trey Perry averages only 1.5 fouls per game. 7:10 third quarter clock. We haven't even played a minute yet. Henderson gets the inbound, near side corner. Drives the baseline, backs down on the baseline, I should say. Now outside feed to Spiva. Henderson, right block, spins, shoots, good.
That was an unbelievable play from Josh Henderson. I've been looking for this all season, a post-up from him. He had the mismatch, way to take advantage of it.
24-23, Lakota East leads Westerville Central. Lakota East with the basketball. Perry with a quick handoff to Washburn. Right of the circle, comes near side to King as Lakota East travels right to left as we see it. Akindle drives inside but draws the foul. It'll be 2 at the line for him, and the foul is going to be on Maceo Harper.
It's a tough physical foul from Maceo Harper. A great take from Michael Akindale. Got to make him earn his 2 points. I'll take that foul every time if I'm Coach Shaver.
That's the third on Maceo Harper. Akindale comes into the weekend 5 of 6 at the line as he sinks that first free throw. He's got 5 points, and that's tough for Maceo Harper being 3 fouls in already.
That is definitely a game changer. Coach keeping them in. But you got to be careful if you're Maceo. This team needs you.
A miss by Akindle. Rebound Henderson up the floor to Spiva to Harper. Left wing is good, or left block is good for Maceo Harper.
Way to run in transition as an offensive team. All 5 men running the floor.
That now gives the ball game a tie score of 25-25, but not without Isaiah King saying, let me drain this 3 for Lakota East. It's now 28-25 Lakota East. Westerville Central trailing with the basketball. 6:05 to play. Third quarter, Amari Spiva, a drive, layup right side, good for 2. He's got 4.
Great take from Amari Spiva. He's starting to heat up. Let's see if he can do it on both ends now.
Here's Trey Perry driving left block, puts up the shot, good.
Incredible screen from P.J. McFarland there. Absolutely blindsided Amari Spiva. Left Perry open for a wide open lane for that layup.
30-27. Westerville Central trails Lakota East with 5:35 to play, third quarter. Here's Matt Brett left point into the far wing. Mason Gooden 3, good from the corner.
Great +1 pass from Matt Brett, passing up a good shot for a great shot. Way to be shot ready, Mason Gooden.
That ties the ball game up, and we'll have a 30-second timeout called on the floor. And I believe that's called by Westerville Central, if I'm not mistaken.
Seems like the pace of this game has really started to pick up in this third quarter. It'll be interesting to see who gets the edge. But I really like what I'm seeing right now from Shaver and his Warhawks.
Westerville Central will have 3 timeouts remaining. Lakota East has all 5. We're tied at 30 with 5:27 in the third quarter to play. You mentioned it earlier, that first half went pretty quick. We tipped right around 6:30, and 7 o'clock it was halftime.
Yeah, I still don't really understand it. I guess time really flies by when you're having fun.
Lakota East will have the basketball, and Trey Perry will bring it up the floor. Amari Spiva is with him. Perry works at the center circle. Dishes to the near side wing, and King. King into the near side corner to Washburn. Washburn feeds Perry left wing. Goes around some blocks, drives right to the lane, puts it up for 2. He's got 16 points now. and it gives Lakota East the 2-point advantage, 32-30. 5 minutes to play in the third. Amari Spiva onto the right wing, drives left of the lane, stops free throw line, pulls up, rims in and out, no good. Henderson, the putback midair, good for 2.
You could tell Henderson has made a point in this game to attack the glass, as he has done that, and it has rewarded his team so far today.
Trey Perry, another drive, and he throws that arm, but no calls. He's able to lay one up for 2. He's got 18 points now, and Lakota East just will not allow that lead to be taken by Westerville Central. It's back to a 2-point lead, 34-32. Harper for Westerville Central, far corner, drives inside the paint, feeds to Spiva, back out to Harper, straight on 3. Back iron, no. Mason Gooden tracks down the rebound in the far corner. He'll dribble it out, feed Harper on a pass, but then it's stolen away by a Kindle, and he'll bring it up the floor, and it'll be a foul on Matt Brett against Trey Perry as he's just trying to swat that ball away.
Yeah, it was a good idea from the Warhawks on the offensive end there, trying to find the man cutting to the hoop. Just a little behind him. It was the right idea, though, from Mason Gooden.
Well, if I've kept track correctly, Matt Brett picks up his first. Team second. A lot of subs come in for both teams. Lakota East will have the inbound. Far sideline by the scores table. And Trey Perry will have it for Lakota East. He'll work at the center logo. Far side to Washburn. Now to J.J. Smith. A handoff to Perry on the right point. Drives into the paint. Dishes outside to a Kindle. Dribbles to the free throw line. His pass stolen away by Henderson. Henderson brings it up the floor for Westerville Central. Near side on a wing. Henderson drives down to the right baseline. Fadeaway shot from the right block. Too hard. It's over the rim. No good. Loose ball in the paint. Picked up by Trey Perry of Lakota East. Up the floor to Michael Akindel. And he lays it up. No, but it's going to be cleaned up on the inside by Brody Hayes. A 4-point lead now for Lakota East. 36-32. 3:20 to play in the third quarter. Amari Spiva will have it for Westerville Central. He'll set up high right. Spiva wanted to hand it off to Henderson, but Westerville Central just slowing things down here, trying to get some movement, and now here's Henderson on the near side wing. Michael Akindo on him, drives to the right baseline, skips cross court. Mason Gooden tipped that pass in the middle. Trey Perry at the other end for Lakota East, lays it up for 2. He's got 20 points, and we're going to get a timeout on the floor. And it looks like it'll be Lakota East who calls the 30-second timeout.
Seems like when we tried to slow down our offense there, the team as a whole almost just turned off their bodies. I'm not too sure what happened there. It did look like Lakota East got away with a push-off, causing that turnover. But then no one on the Warhawks got back on the defensive end and left a wide-open layup for the Thunderhawks.
Yeah, on that pass by Henderson, I know he was looking to maybe go cross-court, but I think Mason Gooden misread that. He was in the middle and tried to grab it halfway through, and I think that miscommunication caused that turnover.
It could have been something like that. We are at a tough angle from here, so it was hard to see. I did see someone push Mason Gooden from the back. I'm not too sure how much that affected him, but regardless, it was a bit of a wary pass from Josh Henderson as he left both of his feet before making that pass. You got to be smarter.
It's 38-32, Lakota East against Westerville Central. 2:40 third quarter to play. The Warhawks of Westerville Central will have the possession. Amari Spiva will have it between the circles. Waiting for the play to develop, looking for a screen, but he'll dribble to his right. Henderson screen to the left, picked up his dribble. Amari Spiva feeds to Ethan Burns, left wing. Hands it off to Spiva, drives left baseline, but not before a whistle and a foul on his pass. Henderson would have had a great-looking 3 there.
Yeah, I think the Thunderhawks almost got bailed out there making that foul call. Josh Henderson was left wide open, and you know he would have made him pay. Let's see what happens on this inbound.
Brody Hayes picked up his first foul, team foul 3. Spiva the inbound, goes up top to Henderson. It's going to be stolen away by Lakota East, and stepping on the sideline was DJ Samuels on that steal, and Westerville Central will have the possession here.
Turnovers are starting to rack up for the Warhawks in this third quarter. If we want to get back in this game, while it's only a 2-possession game, you know, it can be. Sorry, I'm cut here. I don't know.
Lost your train of thought?
I did.
That's all right. It happens. Henderson will have it for Westerville Central. And he landed off Spiva on this near side wing. Drive down to the right block. Blocked as he went up for it by Samuels. He'll draw the foul. Amari Spiva will.
That was a grown man block from Samuels there.
Samuels picks up his first team 4. And Amari Spiva will go to the free throw line. His first one is up, and that one is good. 5 points for Amari Spiva, who shoots about 57% from the line on the season.
Looks like Mason Gooden's going to take a seat for a little bit. Maceo Harper checking back in. See if the Warhawks can get a stop here and try and turn a score-stop-score possession. We could use it.
Amari Spiva makes his second. It's now 38-36. Westerville, 38-34, begging your pardon. Lakota East trailing Westerville, or Lakota East leading Westerville Central. I'll get my words right. It was contagious there. That's okay. Lakota East with the basketball, the lead. Trey Perry drives, but he draws the foul. Foul is on Bell Bignella, his third, team third. For Westerville Central, a minute 43 in the third to play. And it's 38-34 Lakota East.
Refs are really trying to cut out the physicality in this second half as they have amped up their whistles.
Top of the key is Hayes. For Lakota East, works to the near side, Washburn on a wing. 90 ticks to play in the third. Washburn drives right to the lane. Goes outside, stolen away. Amari Spiva of Westerville Central. Drives the other way, lays it up right side for 2. Spiva.
Spiva is showing off his two-way ability today. An incredible steal, taking it coast to coast. Up and under layup. Unbelievable.
It's a 2-point game. Lakota East 38-36, but Trey Perry extends it back to 4 as he lays it up on the right side with an easy take. 40-36 now.
Seems like Perry has an answer for us every single time.
Spiva in the lane, hesitates, shoots, no good. And it's going to be into the hands of DJ Samuels for Lakota East. Under 50 seconds to play in the third. And bringing it up will be Perry for Lakota East. He'll set up onto the right point, checked by Bell Bignella. Now Perry, center logo, checked by Bignella. Holding here for the Thunderhawks. Perry still holding. 24 seconds, third quarter. Perry dribbles to the near side wing. Hands it off to Washburn. Center logo, checked by Henderson. Washburn, a little stab. Now dribbles to his right. Keeps his dribble alive to the right side wing. Picked it up. Feeds outside to Perry. 8 on the clock. Perry, high right side. Perry, right side wing. Into the lane he goes. Puts it up right side. No. The recovery was no good. The last second shot by Henderson is up and no good. But the Warhawks will trail the Thunderhawks 40-36 after 3 on COSN.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Ohio. This message presented by the OHSAA and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Connect with Central Ohio Sports Network on Twitter and Instagram at COSN Audio, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Central Ohio Sports Network. COSN social media will have score updates, pictures from the game, audio clips, interviews, and more. Follow and like today. Central Ohio Sports Network. Sports coverage by the fans. This is the home of the Westerville Central Warhawks, Central Ohio Sports Network.
Well, as Lance told us during the break, let's actually recognize that moment for a great broadcaster who lost his battle to cancer this week. Greg Gumbel of CBS Sports passed away on Friday, and that's a tough loss for everyone in the sports broadcasting world. I'll tell you, March Madness and hoops on CBS is never going to be the same without Greg Gumbel in the studio. Even calling NFL games, it's just not going to be the same without hearing that voice. He was in the industry for a long time, so our best to his family. A 3 for Lakota East is no good, but the rebound, McFarland, will give it outside to Washburn as Lakota East leads 40-36. Their take inside is no good. The ball is off of Josh Henderson. That was Washburn. 7:36 to play in the game, and Westerville Central's defense has played a little bit better in the last 8 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're picking it up, but McFarland, who hasn't had a amount of minutes tonight, comes in and makes an immediate impact, giving his team 2 extra opportunities on the offensive end.
Perry the 3, no. Amari Spiva the rebound for Westerville Central. Pushes the floor, gives it off Ethan Burns, top of the key, drives left of the lane, and he's going to be fouled by McFarland on the drive.
Looks like we got away with a travel from Spiva, and then I think that was more of a block from the angle I saw here for McFarland, but Ethan Burns earns himself a trip to the line.
He was 2 for 2 coming into tonight at the charity stripe, his first one. On the way for the lefties, back iron, no good.
Had to do it to him, Brent. Had to do it to him.
Commentator's curse. Yeah, it happens. He was due.
I'm just playing.
His second one is up and good. First points of the night for Ethan Burns. 40-37. Lakota East leads Westerville Central. 7:18 to play. Here's Trey Perry, double teamed left of the lane, and then a whistle and a foul before the shot by Akindel, and foul is going to go on Ethan Burns.
I like the idea from Ethan Burns there. You know, Trey Perry picks up his dribble. You want to try and double team and trap that immediately, especially since he's the man guarding P.J. McFarland, who is not a threat from the perimeter. Let's see if we see a little bit more of that in this fourth quarter, as, you know, this is a tight race, and it's going to come down to the end.
And we're going to get a whistle. 5-second violation on Isaiah King on the inbound for Lakota East. Turnover, Westerville Central possession.
Great job from Mari Spiva denying the basketball there. A huge stop for the Warhawks defensively. Let's see if we can take advantage of it.
Here's Amari Spiva bringing it up left to right. He'll set up on the high right. Gets a screen to his left, spins right of the lane, puts it up too hard off the glass. Rebound, Amari Spiva outside to Henderson near wing. Drives to the right baseline. His shot up and no good. Loose ball inside, and it's going to be 2 Lakota East players who get tangled up and called for the travel. Incredible.
You don't see that very often, do you?
No, I don't think they realized that they were teammates. And Westerville Central will make a quick substitution here as Bell Beniella will check into the game for Westerville Central. Mason Gooden actually goes to the trainer to take a look at his right shoulder. Amari Spiva has it for Westerville Central, down 40-37. Spins, shoots, good, Amari Spiva.
Spiva taking his time on that jumper. He knew he had it. He could shoot right over top the defender. Took his time, nice and pure.
1-point ball game, 40-39, as Westerville Central trails Lakota East. The Thunderhawks with the basketball. Akindel for the 3. Back iron. No good. Amari Spiva the rebound, Westerville Central. And he'll slow it down and walk it up left to right as we see it.
That's how you rebound the ball as a team. Ethan Burns and Bell Beniella focusing on McFarland, allowing Spiva to grab that rebound. Great job.
Harper a drive outside to Bell. Now back to Harper, left wing. Bell, or I should say Harper, spins on the drive, gets it to Ethan Burns, but Burns is going to be called for the travel on the baseline. He took a step before the pass.
Yeah, I feel like one of those were due for the Warhawks. We were getting a little too sped up there. Got away with the first couple this quarter. Third time's a charm for the referee.
6 minutes to play. 40-39 Lakota East. Westerville Central trailing. The East Thunderhawks have the basketball. King on the right side wing. Feeds between the circles to Washburn. Near side Akindel. Akindel works to Trey Perry, top of the key. Perry off a dribble against Bell, who has actually played pretty good defense against Trey Perry. Pulls up on the left block, though. Trey Perry had to really work for that one to go in.
sometimes despite the incredible defense, offense is just too good, and Trey Perry was a great example of that right there.
42-39, Lakota East leads Westerville Central. Central has the basketball, 5:20 to play. Here's Maceo Harper near side on a wing. Harper driving against a Kindell, feeds far side, Matt Brett, three, good. Matt Brett now has 5 points, and we're tied at 42.
Shooting with confidence on the offensive end, knowing he has a man slagging off him on the defensive end. Way to take advantage of that.
Under 5 to play in the fourth, and it's poked away by Amari Spiva. He heads the other way for Westerville Central, loses the dribble, regains possession to the near side wing, crosses court to Matt Brett, three off the iron, no good. Loose ball picked up by Trey Perry of Lakota East. He gets around the defense, drives right to the lane, dishes a Kindle, and it's swatted away by Henderson.
Are you kidding me, young man, coming out of nowhere, sending that into the bleachers, or what would you call that?
The VIP seats.
Sending that into the VIP, giving them a well-deserved game ball. Great hustle from Henderson.
It was great hustle by Henderson. He got back on defense right in the nick of time.
Showing his athleticism there. How about that?
Hayes inbounds. Around the arc near side to Washburn on a wing. Finds Perry onto the right point for Lakota East. 4:25 to play. We're tied at 42. Perry picked up his dribble. Goes top of the key to a Kindell. And Maceo Harper is going to draw the foul there. That's going to be his fourth personal. Team foul number 2. Maceo Harper has to be careful now.
You said that's his fourth?
That is his fourth.
Yeah, definitely something you got to be cautious about if you're coach.
And I think Ethan Burns is going to come in, give Harper a quick breather.
I wouldn't expect Harper to be on the bench for long. I'd give it a minute, 90 seconds max. As we are tied up in this very close game, we're going to need all we can get from him.
Trey Perry will have it for Lakota East, tied at 42. In the holiday hoopla from the Columbus Convention Center. Brent Ford, Skip Ford, and Lance Wyatt with you as Trey Perry holds at center circle. Here for the Battelle Grand Ballroom. Trey Perry directs traffic to the near side wing in Hayes. Hayes gets around Mason Gooden, who checked back in. Here's Trey Perry near side on a wing. Amari Spiva with the assignment. Cross-court pass to a Kindell. Inside, the look to Smith. Now the near side, Hayes. A three is good in the corner. And a whistle and a timeout for Lakota East. As Hayes drains the three, he's got 11 points. And it gives Lakota East the 45-42 lead on COSN.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in Ohio is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, it just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
What is dedication?
People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How is your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is the home of the Westerville Central Warhawks, Central Ohio Sports Network.
Out of the full timeout by Lakota East, Westerville Central will have the basketball. 45-42 score. East leads Central with 3:30 to play. Amari Spiva will have it for the Westerville Central Warhawks. Left point, hands it off Henderson, left wing. Henderson, who has not scored since the third quarter, has it on the left side wing, drives down to the left baseline, puts up the shot, contested, draws the foul, missed the shot though.
Every possession matters now that we're in the crunch time of this basketball game. Way to be aggressive, trying to get to the cup.
First one for Henderson is up, and it is good. He's got 15 points now on the evening. The foul was on Michael Akindele for his first, team's second. Second one here for Henderson. As he takes a deep breath, eyes it, toes it, shoots it. Back iron, no good. The rebound, loose inside the paint, picked up by Trey Perry. Poked from behind by Henderson. Perry recovers, gets around Amari Spiva, kicks near side for the three, rims in for Ashton Washburn, his first points of the night.
While he doesn't shoot the ball much, he is a high percentage shooter.
Ooh. 48-43, and Henderson on the take is going to draw the foul by J.J. Smith. Oh, no, they're going to give it to Trey Perry for his third, team's third. So Henderson will go back to the line for Westerville Central. His first one is up. Back iron, no good for the 89% free throw shooter.
Regardless, make or miss, we got to make sure we're not gambling on the defensive end. We got to sit down. There's still plenty of time. We gambled on the last possession, and we lost, and it costed us.
Henderson with 16 points as that second shot is good. And now it's a 48-44 lead for Lakota East. Akindele for the Thunderhawks will have it to the near side wing, and Washburn to Trey Perry, trapped high left side. Perry finds Akindele, now goes underneath to Smith. Smith, far corner, Hayes, three, good.
We're trying to trap the basketball right now, and Lakota East is making us pay. That is now 3 straight open threes for the Thunderhawks.
Maury Spiva the miss at the other end for Westerville Central. Trey Perry slows it down for Lakota East as they lead 51-44 with 2:13 to play. And Amari Spiva is going to get the reach-in foul here on Trey Perry as Trey Perry helps Spiva up off the floor. First on Spiva, team foul 3.
Now because of the swing from Lakota East making those 3 threes in a row and Josh Henderson missing a couple free throws, this went from a 1 to a 3 possession game now. This game has completely shifted in the course of a minute. It'll be interesting to see if Shawver sticks with the trap here.
Gonna have the mop come out to center circle where Spiva hit the floor. .2:11 to play. And it'll be Ashton Washburn to inbound for Lakota East. They'll get it in. Trey Perry will have it center circle, trapped to Akindele to the left point. 51-44. Lakota East leads Westerville Central. This is Washburn's center logo. Now to Perry on the handoff. And a little reach in from behind on Amari Spiva. And Spiva is trying to talk to the official about how Perry is hooking him. Oh, Amari Spiva picked up his third. I guess that was the one foul I missed earlier in the game. So that's 3 on Amari Spiva, team foul number 4. A minute 56 to play. And a timeout taken by Lakota East as they almost did not get that inbound in. It'll be a 30-second timeout for the Thunderhawks. Well, I know time is against Westerville Central, but sometimes I don't know if trapping right now is the best answer with how well that Lakota East can pass the basketball.
Yeah, it seemed like as soon as we went to that trap defense, they made us pay immediately and this game flipped sideways. But now it's almost like you don't have a choice. There's nothing you can do. You have to get the ball back. Lakota East has been playing very conservative this fourth quarter, taking their good old time, getting the offense set. It's definitely a tough situation now. If you're the Warhawks, you probably have to go back to the trap. You just got to make sure you're rotating like crazy if you're the Warhawks. Can't give up on the play.
Got to watch that backside.
For sure.
As there's a minute 56 to play here in the game, it's 51-44. Lakota East leads Westerville Central. Trey Perry gets the inbound, goes down to the right block, puts up the shot. No, ball tipped up into the air, picked up by a Kendall of Lakota East, outside to Washburn.
See, that was exactly what you wanted. You wanted Perry to take a forced, difficult shot near the basket, but you're unable to get the offensive rebound. That is big.
Perry on the drive, puts it up right side for 2. He's got 26 points.
And that was almost a dagger right there. You could probably say it right there.
Henderson down to his right block, missed the shot. And Hayes fighting for the rebound against Mason Gooden. Loose ball at the free throw line. And they're going to call it a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Westerville Central with 1:21 to play.
Now you're only down 9, 3 possessions still. But you got to look at the three-point shot. I would almost force up a three-point shot at this point. It's what you need.
Henderson, Matt Brett, Maceo Harper, Amari Spiva can all shoot the 3 along with Mason Gooden, who's in there. But now we get a foul before the inbound.
Looks like Akindo was holding on to Matt Brett.
That'll be the 4th team foul. Michael Akindo picks up his 2nd. The inbound by Amari Spiva, near side baseline to our right, goes up top for Henderson. Has it on the high right. Henderson works top of the key. Henderson drives, left block, puts up the shot, and it's good for the layup on the left. He's got 18 points now. And a timeout taken. It'll be a 30-second timeout for Coach Shaver. With 1:11 to work with on the clock, trailing 53-46 to Lakota East.
Now you got to think they're going to be going with some full court pressure here coming out of the timeout. But I would keep an eye on as soon as the Thunderhawks cross half court, that is a perfect opportunity for the Warhawks to try and trap and get that double team, exactly what they're looking for. We'll see if they come out in just a man press or a zone press, but I would watch out for that trap as soon as they cross half court.
53-46. Lakota East leads Westerville Central with 1:11 to play here at the Holiday Hoopla. I get to work 2 days of basketball too at Otterbein for the Smokey Ballinger Classic.
Now, what are the matchups we got going into the
That's
games?
let's see, Olivet and Otterbein in the men, Hanover and Denison in the men.
Okay.
And off the top of my head, I can't remember the women's bracket. But Otterbein playing a couple teams in there as well. Albion, I believe, for the women. Amari Spiva picks up his 4th foul there, team foul 5. Oberlin, yep. So
should be some fun matchups.
And actually, admission to the Smoky is a canned food item for Warm or a cash donation.
Oh, really?
So
I've never heard of that before.
yeah, bring in. They do it every year for the Smoky.
Wow, that's awesome.
Trey Perry at the line. First free throw is up and good. He's got 27 points in this game. 54-46, Lakota East with 1:07 to play. Trey Perry will have another free throw here.
He has an extremely quiet 27 tonight.
Now 28.
He's made a huge impact very quietly, I would say.
Amari Spiva for Westerville Central with the basketball. Down by 9 and a minute to play. Westerville Central and Amari Spiva drive down to the right block. They lay it up right side. Amari Spiva's got 12 points. 55-48, and a foul here by Westerville Central. That's Maceo Harper, and that should be his 5th foul.
Yeah, it looks like we're not even going to try and trap there. Seemed like Maceo may have forgotten he had 4 fouls, but at the point we're at in this game, got to do what you got to do.
Melvin Yellow will check in for Harper, who's fouled out of this game. It'll put Trey Perry at the line for Lakota East. His first one is up and good. 29 points for Trey Perry. 56-48, Lakota East.
It's definitely going to end up being a very disappointing result for the Westerville Central Warhawks this evening at the Columbus Convention Center. But there's been a lot of good from this game, too.
57-48. Trey Perry makes both. He's got 30 points. Near corner, Bell Beniella for Westerville Central, 3. No good. The rebound, and it went into the hands of DJ Samuels. He handed off Trey Perry. And Mason Gooden is going to pick up his first foul, and it'll put Trey Perry back at the line for the Thunderhawks.
The big question after this game for Max Sharver would just be what we were talking about early in this season. Can you close games? This is a very talented team, and with most of the teams we've played against this season outside of and I would say it was a uncommon game from the Warhawks against Thomas Worthington. We've been very competitive in every game we've played. We've just been unable to close or find that final stretch, Group 5, that is able to take it home for us. And it's going to be a huge question mark that's going to loll over Coach Schaver's head for who knows how long until they can get it done.
Trey Perry makes both free throws. He's got 32 points. Henderson with the 3 on the far side wing. He now has 21. And it's 59-51. Lakota East leading Westerville Central. And a timeout taken by... Not sure who called that timeout.
Well, I'll keep talking about what my previous thought was. And while I always say this is great for the Warhawks because no matter what, we'll get a draw into the tournament, and it's great to be in these tight competitive games against these highly talented teams. But at some point, it's going to start creating chaos a little bit in the locker room, I bet, because there's nothing more important than closing games. And this team knows that they are talented enough to hang around with anybody in Ohio, but they've just been unable to close in the fourth quarter, and it's not going to get any easier as they got an undefeated Bishop Watterson, a 6-2 Westerville North, and an undefeated Hilliard Darby in their next 3 opponents.
Tough schedule.
Extremely.
Wow, Westerville Central is Division II in high school basketball, Lakota East Division I. So a lot of the tough opponents in Division I could help the Division II run in the postseason for Westerville Central.
Without a doubt. That is a great point to make. And it just continues with you can't ever get too frustrated. You can't.
Lakota East all lined up on the baseline. They sprint off the line like wide receivers would. And Mason Gooden will foul Trey Perry. That'll be the second on Mason Gooden. And Trey Perry goes to the line to add more to his stat line.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, line up on the baseline? Yeah.
Well, it's because it was off a make, so we're allowed to run the baseline, so yeah, it makes sense. But credit where credit is due to Lakota East Thunderhawks. They have been tremendous today. They shot the ball extremely well in the second half. They were not afraid to attack the basket. They have a lot of skill players over there. They're going to be a tough team to beat for the rest of the season for their opponents down there in Cincinnati.
Trey Perry has over half of the Lakota East points.
Wow.
Loose ball on the sideline off the miss, and it's off of Westerville Central. Lakota East will have the basketball with 20 seconds remaining in a 60-51 ball game. Lakota East with the lead. Yeah, 33 points for Trey Perry.
Wow.
That's 33 of the 60 points of Lakota East.
Well, he's getting a lot of extra garbage time points here in this last few minutes.
Mason Gooden picks up his third foul and sends Trey Perry back to the line.
Glad to see Mason Gooden back in the game, though, even though it looks like this game's out of reach for us. It's great to see Mason Gooden up and healthy.
That free throw up and good. 34 for Trey Perry. After each game, the Bleacher Republic and Holiday Hoopla, they award players of the game for each team, and I would assume that now with 35 points, Trey Perry will be the player of the game for Lakota East.
It's probably the safe bet,
yeah,
Brent. I would say so. I'd probably agree.
And I'm going to pick Josh Henderson for Westerville Central.
I'd probably agree. You never know.
He's their leading scorer, and he tries a three there, which is no good. Trey Perry gets the rebound, and Trey Perry and Westerville Central are just going to let this ball bounce around. And Trey Perry's going to hold it on the baseline, and he's going to let clock expire, and that'll do it. Westerville Central will fall here to Lakota East by a score of 62-51 is your final score. Our post-game wrap-up comes your way next here on Central Ohio Sports Network.
I perform for our high school choir director, who taught me to breathe from the diaphragm and sing from the heart.
Speech, debate, theater, music. The performing arts teach valuable life lessons that typically aren't taught in the classroom. They help high school students learn leadership skills that prepare them to enjoy more satisfying, productive lives.
Hey, I've got a question for you. Who will you perform for?
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the high school in your community.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game, so I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in Ohio at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome to Post-Game Wrap-Up on Central Ohio Sports Network.
A final score of 62-51. Lakota East gets the win over Westerville Central. Welcome inside our post-game wrap-up. The most outstanding players were announced. For Westerville Central, it was Amari Spiva, and for Lakota East, it was Trey Perry, as they were awarded the most outstanding players. My vote was Josh Henderson, but I guess Amari Spiva outshined Henderson in this game a little bit there.
It looks like they're giving him a little bit of credit for taking that challenge on the defensive end, guarding Trey Perry for most of this game. Well deserved. I thought he played a good game today.
Yeah, he did. I mean, it was a quiet game, and he had a quiet 12 points for Westerville Central. The leading scorer was Josh Henderson with 21 points for Westerville Central. But if you had to pick the most outstanding player for the game itself overall, had to be Trey Perry
without a doubt
of Lakota East with his 35 points.
Yeah, even when he was struggling to finish around the rim early in the game, he was still scoring at will. It was almost like there was nothing we could do to stop him. Give credit to the incredible talent that he has with his offensive ability and skill. But definitely some adjustments the Warhawks need to make after this game. I think we're going to check the film out and see that there was a lot of good in this game. We just got to start putting it all together. I thought our offense was much better in that second half, but then in that fourth quarter, our defense almost fell apart. And I'm not too sure who to put the blame on there, but 22 points in the fourth quarter, it's going to be hard to win any game when you do that.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of things went well for Westerville Central through 3 quarters of play.
Yeah.
In that fourth quarter, they changed a couple things up. The trapping of Trey Perry, I felt, opened up the passing game for Lakota East, which they're a really good passing team. They are definitely the definition of team basketball, even though you could say, well, it doesn't look like it from the stat sheet because Trey Perry had those 35 of 62 points for Lakota East. But, I mean, let's be honest, it was a team effort.
I think you're right on the money, Brant, honestly. Obviously, this team is led by Trey Perry, and he's a terrific player, but you cannot forget about the role players of this team. This team is incredibly deep, and we saw it in the game here today that even when you try and take away that one top dog, they still got other players. You got to remember it's a 5-team sport. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, you can't forget about the other guys, and we did that in the fourth quarter, and they made us pay.
You know, Coach Shaver, we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast that he's mentioned before that there's the disease of me on the team, and I thought that reared back up a little bit in points of this game too.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that was more at the start and the end of the game. I thought throughout the middle of the game, I thought we did a much better job moving the ball around. But there's always room for improvement when it's a discussion such of that character. And that just comes with, like we always say on the broadcast, with what I like saying a lot, it's tough to do, but passing up good shots for great shots will always be successful for your team. And I think it was hard for us to do that late in this fourth quarter, especially in crunch time. You know, you always want to make that play to help your team out, but sometimes you got to do the simple thing and just make the extra pass or, you know, set that screen, make that rebound, make that box out. And it didn't really seem like we did that late in this game, and it showed.
62-51 your final score. Lakota East gets the win over Westerville Central in the Holiday Hoopla at the Columbus Convention Center. We'll have more of our post-game wrap-up next on COSN right after this.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Hi, I'm former Major League Baseball All-Star Al Oliver. When I played, I tried to make it a simple game, like see the ball, hit the ball. But trust me, sports are not that simple. Try to remember that when you watch an interscholastic athletics contest where everyone is trying their best in a game they all love, so please be courteous and set an example that reflects positively on your school and community. Let's remember, too, respect the game.
Their parents a lot of questions.
Why can't people fly?
Gravity.
Is the moon really made of cheese?
Yep, cream cheese.
When can I move into a big kid's car seat?
For some questions, parents may not have the answer, but that's okay. They can't know everything, but knowing the right seat for their age and size will help protect them in a car crash. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Where do babies come from?
Good luck, Dad. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Post Game Wrap Up on Central Ohio Sports Network.
62-51 is your final score. Lakota East with the win over Westerville Central. Final stats in this one. Thanks to Skip Ford for calculating that for us for Westerville Central. 43% from the field, 20 of 46. 5 of 13 from behind the arc, 38%. 6 of 19 at the foul line. 21 rebounds. Henderson had 8 of those. Only 5 assists in this game, 3 by Amari Spiva. 10 turnovers for the Warhawks in this game. They had 7 at half, so they limited that in the second half. But you were mentioning it, only 5 assists in this one.
Yeah, it just shows, we didn't really play a whole lot like a team today. And there was obviously a handful of talent out on that floor. Josh Henderson, Amari Spiva, Trey Perry, the list could go on and on. The talent was there. But I think a big differential between both teams was that we were not sharing the ball as much as we probably could have, especially at the beginning and the very end of this game.
Yeah, Westerville Central just struggled in that fourth quarter and in the first quarter. But like you said, the middle of the game, really they turned it up, and they were in it. It just goes back to some of those earlier conversations we've had, finding a way to finish a basketball game.
Yeah.
And right now they just aren't able to do that against some of these tougher opponents that Westerville Central has been facing. They were outscored in that fourth quarter 22-15.
Wow.
So tough break for Westerville Central when you have to force fouls and force Lakota East to the free throw line because the last 9 points for Trey Perry, 9 or 10 points, were at the free throw line.
Wow.
For him. And he was going to the free throw line after he had made 26 points. So the last 9 points at the line were free throws.
And that's where it goes back to, Coach, whoever it was, made the decision to try and start trapping Lakota East and Trey Perry late in this fourth quarter. Ended up costing us. They hit 3 straight threes. Next thing you know, we're down 9 points. And instead of us trying to throw up threes, while I understand you don't want to force anything, we were taking twos. And so that almost forces us into a foul game with over 2 minutes left in a game. And if you're a basketball fan, 2 minutes in basketball time can be 20 to 30 minutes in real life time if it comes down to an end game like this where you got to play the foul game. There's just a couple tweaks that are going to need to be made. But the good things are there. We just have to put everything together all at once.
I was going to say, Trey Perry was actually quiet in that fourth quarter. He had 4 points leading up to all his trips at the foul line. So he was playing a little quieter in the fourth quarter. But Westerville Central needed some more possession time, and the trap is what came to the idea of the coaching staff at that time. And I think, although a good idea, on paper. I think with the passing ability of Lakota East, just not quite there.
I think you're right on the money. And because, while this was a team that was highly capable of shooting the ball, they're not going to force those threes. They're going to, like we talked about, they're going to take what the defense was giving them. And it didn't seem like they were putting up too many threes until that fourth quarter when we were giving them wide open threes.
Yeah.
And plenty of those guys that were shooting those balls, Ashton Washburner, 83% from three on the season. Brody Hayes, 33% on the season. That percentage went up today. Brady Bowman, who didn't play, great shooter. Michael Akindele, who had a good game, 46% from three. Like, these guys can shoot the ball. And we kind of fell right into their hands in that fourth quarter.
Westerville Central falls 62-51, and they'll have to bounce back because they go to Bishop Watterson on Monday evening. They'll take on the Eagles in that one, 7:30 tip time. We'll have that for you here on the network. Right around 7:15, I'll be coming from an Otterbein game, so
doubleheader for you.
I'll be rushing in. I'll have three games before that.
Wow.
We're leading into that one. So
that'll be a hectic day for you.
I might be setting up as we're tipping off. You never know.
Nice.
I already informed Coach Shaver
right.
that there may not be a coach's interview for that game.
Yeah.
But we will definitely have the action for you here on the network as long as my games don't run long and we don't miss tip-off.
Great.
So we'll be there. Coming up next for Lakota East, though, they head back home to take on Oak Hills as they get back into the Greater Miami Conference matchups. That's a big conference. They've got Fairfield, Lakota West, Princeton, Oak Hills, Sycamore, Middletown, Hamilton, Mason, Coleraine. I mean, that's a tough Cincinnati conference down in the Greater Miami Conference. So their conference schedule just picks right back up for them.
Yeah, despite their incredible record they have so far this season, now 8-1 after the win today, they've played in a good amount of tight games, and they've been close battles in their conference. And you got to expect, just because they came out of wins the first time doesn't mean it's going to happen the second time. Anything can happen in that conference. It should be a great rest of the season for that Thunderhawks team.
They're tied for first place with Fairfield at 5-0 in the conference. Other games for the OCC Ohio today. New Albany was at Solon at 4 o'clock. DeSales took on Grove City at 5 o'clock. Coming up next in the Holiday Hoopla here at the Convention Center, Pickerington North is going to take on St. Ed's here in about 15 minutes or so. So about 8:15 they will tip it off. Tomorrow, Gahanna will take on Holy Name here in the Holiday Hoopla at 1:15 p.m. So that's the OCC Ohio. Of course, Pickerington North, they're undefeated right now, 3-0 in the conference, 5-0 overall. They lead the conference, so this would be a great matchup for Pickerington North and something that Westerville Central will have to examine because we'll go on the road to Pickerington North in late January to take on the Panthers again.
Wow.
So
definitely a lot at stake over these next couple days.
A lot to learn from, for sure.
Without a doubt.
Well, give a big thanks and shout-out to Bleacher Republic, the organization who put on this event, the Holiday Hoopla. Clark Kellogg had a little bit of influence with this as well.
Yeah, shout-out Clark Kellogg, trying to keep high school basketball in Columbus, Ohio, popular. There's a lot of talent around this state, and it goes unnoticed at times. And, big thanks to Clark Kellogg for letting these players show out.
Big thanks to everyone at the Holiday Hoopla for helping us get into the convention center, getting us our credentials, getting us our broadcast space, and being so accommodating. And it's been great. Even the staff of the convention center, when I first got here, first thing they did said, here's the outlet, here's your power. So whatever you need, let us know. So big thanks to everyone who's put on this event. It's a great event here at the convention center. Great atmosphere and setting as well here in the Patel Grand Ballroom. And couldn't ask for anything better. Thanks to head coach Max Shaver for joining us in the pregame. Thanks to our statistician Skip Ford for calculating our numbers. Lance, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you for having me. I love doing it.
Every time.
Can't wait to be back on Monday for the quick turnaround.
We'll have it for you right here, starting at 7:15, 7:30 tip. I'm Brent Ford from the Greater Columbus Convention Center, where Westerville Central falls to Lakota East 62-51. This has been Warhawk Basketball on Central Ohio Sports Network.
This has been Post-Game Wrap-Up on Central Ohio Sports Network. The preceding has been a presentation of Central Ohio Sports Network and may not be rebroadcast in any fashion without express written consent from Central Ohio Sports Network. Central Ohio Sports Network is not affiliated with any school district. For more information on Central Ohio Sports Network or how to advertise or sponsor with COSN, please visit cosnaudio.com. Central Ohio Sports Network. Sports